If you want to support these projects, head over to mulliganbrothers.com, where you can now buy the Inspire Change t-shirts and much, much more. And please consider becoming a YouTube member with the join button down below. Before that, let's jump into the highlights.
I wanted to talk about sort of the road. So let's say when you started being a coach, there was a load of things that you put in place to become successful at that. One of the things I really like that you spoke about like what you do with individuals and teams is deflecting distractions, which is so difficult in the sort of world we live in right now. We can get distracted so easy. Like, what's your advice? Have you got any sort of techniques or programs that you use to sort of deflect those distractions to stay focused?
Yeah, well, I think the first thing is to before you even get to distractions, you have to be clear of your purpose and your goal, right? Clear of your purpose and your goal. And so, what is your goal? Win the national championship. Or what is your goal? Earn this managerial job. What is your goal, right? Be married by the age of 25. Whatever your goal is. And then it's important to recognize, okay, if this is the goal, what are the steps that I really need to do to accomplish that goal? And so sometimes, let's say the goal is, I'm making it up, but I want to lose 25 pounds. That's I want to feel good about myself. My goal is to lose 25 pounds. Well, what do I got to do? I'm not going to eat past 7. I'm going to drink 4 glasses of water a day. I'm going to exercise 20 minutes every day, whatever those things are. And all of a sudden now, you've got this clear roadmap. The thing is, we sometimes put this clear roadmap only in our head. I want to write it down. When I'm losing weight, on the front of my fridge is my goal. And then it's my weigh-in number and my graph every day. Because you can't have these goals down, hidden away. They got to be front and center by your mirror, by your computer screen, by your refrigerator, by your work desk, wherever it is. So it's always at the front of your mind. Because if it's not in the front of your mind, something else will creep in there, right? Oh my gosh, my goal is to get this manager job. I got to finish this project. Hey, let's go out to the bar, guys, and party tonight. And I turn and look at my computer. It's like manager by age 25. Nope. I need to constantly remind myself and have it front and center what I'm about and what's going on. So that's one technique. Write it down and put it someplace where you're seeing. Number 2 technique, which is really equally as important, is who are you surrounding yourself with? Equally committed people who have that same drive and discipline and purpose. And that's hard because sometimes these are my friends, these are things I want. Who are the high achievers, right? Who are the people that are equally committed, who are good for you and good to you? Because we all will have this time where we just want to go this way. And they're like, hey, come on, let's do this. And everybody needs a wingman or a wingwoman, right? Just your motivator, your hype woman, your hype man. Come on, you can do this. So that's another important piece. Surround yourself with people who will build you up, right? And that's hard because it's like, oh gosh. Sometimes I say it's get away from the people who will tear you down. But that motivation piece, you write it down, okay, I write it down, but I'm still not good. Okay, here's my people. Number 3, what are the distractions? Don't spend and wait for them to surprise you. When you set your goal and you set your processes, write down the things that that are your slippery slopes. No different than the alcoholic says, you know what, I'm going to be dry. I'm going to be, I'm not drinking any beer anymore. Well, what's a distraction? I can't go into Nellie's because even though they got the best chicken wings, they also got that beer I love. So you know what? I'm not going into Nellie's for that restaurant anymore. You know what? I'm not hanging out with Sally because Sally always drinks wine with her dinner, and that's just too slippery for me. What are your distractions so that you can see when they're coming? And what I call become the red flags. If I'm losing weight and I know that I'm going to weigh in every morning, okay, that's not bad. If I miss 1, that's okay. But if I miss 2, that's my red flag. So it's like distractions, red flags. What are your red flags that say you're about to go off course and you need help? And that says, let me get to my friend.
Do you think write all this down? No, it's brilliant. It's fantastic. Do you think write it all down? Write the distractions down too and have all these things in front of you?
Absolutely.
Fantastic. There was something that you mentioned just there, not giving people sort of your power, your energy, like not allowing people to take that from you.
Yeah. Don't give your power away.
That's
So I
it.
say,
That's it,
yeah. So I say this about people who sometimes let critical people, negative people dissuade you from your goals. There's always people out there who are going to tell you you're no good, that you don't have the ability. Are you crazy? That's a terrible idea. That why are you doing that? And all of a sudden, yeah, you're right. Yeah. And as soon as you let them take over, then you've given away your power. And what I mean by that is you've listened to them and you've let them stop you in your tracks. And I'm like, what the heck? Who knows? Do you know? Like, imagine, I remember it's like, you know, there's a lady one time that it's like, that's a terrible idea. I don't even know who you are. I just met you. You don't know anything about me. So I don't care what you think, right? That's the way I want you to look at it. Sometimes we think about it as like, oh gosh, yeah, well, you must be an expert. You must be it, yeah. I share the story of how I cut a guy 3 different times. 3 different times I cut this guy from a position that I am the expert in. Like I literally coach people to millions of dollars in this. And he came back a 4th time and became an all-Canadian, a pro, and is now still playing. If anybody was to tell somebody that he wasn't good enough, it should have been me. But that guy didn't pay any attention. He interpreted that feedback differently and he got away from me. When you know those people that are constantly wearing at you, if you're not careful, they start this downward cycle where they influence your thoughts, your beliefs, and your actions. And so in order to stop that, you got to get away from them and not pay them any mind.
How do you decide who is the one you should listen to and is giving you good advice versus the one you should ignore and carry on?
That's a good question. So I always talk about negative feedback versus critical feedback. Negative feedback is always what's wrong, what's broken, why it's not happening, why it's a terrible idea. Critical feedback, why it's wrong, have you tried this? Critical feedback, this is what's broken, I could see this, this, and this. These are the issues that I would work to solve on. Do you see how they give you hope, a path forward, optimism, right? Critical feedback is supportive. I love where you're going, right? I could see the work that you put into this. Here are the issues that I think that are broken. Here's what very specific, positive, that supports and motivates you to keep moving, right? Whatever you're asking, and sometimes we have to train people to give feedback. And so I say, okay, I got it. Do you have any suggestions? Do you have any thoughts about how I can move forward? I don't know, that's why I hired you. You know what, you're not the kind of person I want to work for.
We talk like you train a lot of leaders. What is we could talk, I guess, for hours on leadership. But what's like the key? Like, what's the keys to it? Like, is there a simple way of looking at it, like what people need, what people require, and is there something that you just have to have naturally, or can we all develop that skill?
Well, I don't know if I'm an expert here, but I will say that for my training, there's certain things that I've noticed. Number one is everybody needs to feel like they matter and they belong. So you're going to hear that a lot from me. And that's about the power of cohesion, connection, however you want to say it. In the corporate world, they would call it engaged. If people feel like they matter and they belong, they're more likely to want to perform for you as a leader. So how do you make that happen? How do you create an environment where there's a closeness, there's a cohesion, where you know that Sally's grandma is sick, or you know if Bob shows up with 2 coffees in the morning, he's had a rough day? How are you going to spend time to create meaningful connections between your workers? And so you have to develop that in order to grow and build loyalty and make people want to do things beyond the scale of their job description. All right, so great leaders have that ability. Number 2, feedback, right? Great leaders give feedback. People crave it, they yearn for it, they want it. And they don't want just warm, positive feedback. They want the critical feedback, but they want it genuine and authentic. Don't give them warm feedback if it's not really meaningful. I say it like this: the guy that shoots on goal, great shot. but it was wide and 10 yards over. You don't really mean any of that, right? So don't say great shot when it goes 5 yards wide and 10 yards high. Save it for when it really means something. Then they will know that your feedback is genuine. Okay. Third piece that you have to really be able to do is communicate. And this is different than feedback, which is different than cohesion. What I mean by that is, are you clear in your communication? Are you articulate? Are you able to set a clear mission and vision through the way you communicate? And recognize that in order to communicate, it has to be proactive. You have to be out in the spaces, sending out whatever those key messages are. We think about messaging only as one time, but I usually try and give the same message 3 to 6 times, because communication, check what tell me what you just heard. Are we clear on the same message here? Those are my 3 things, right? And, and I connect communication to that clear mission and vision. It's kind of all one.
If you enjoyed the video, please consider going to mulliganbrothers.com, where you can now buy the new Inspire Change t-shirts, the LFG t-shirts, the Hardest Worker in the Room t-shirts. Everybody who's been supporting us has made this project possible, and projects like this in the future possible. We cannot fly all around the world with our film crew and ourselves and do these interviews and documentaries without your support. So thank you very much. The support has been amazing and we appreciate it. Also, there is a join button down below where you can consider becoming a YouTube member of this channel by hitting that join button. Thank you very much for watching. If you want to follow us on the behind the scenes stuff of our editor at Neith Mulligan, X on Instagram, or at Jordan Mulligan Brother for myself on Instagram as well, you can see what we get up to on a day-to-day basis. Thank you for watching. Have a blessed and productive day. Go inspire some change, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.